Hey y'all, welcome to the Honesty Circle. It is me, your host, Sierra Elise, and I hope you're taking care of not only your spiritual and mental health, but I hope you're taking care of your emotional and physical health so you can be your best self this week. Today's episode is going to be about checking in with yourself. It is important to take time to check in with yourself. It gives you the time and the space to address things that have been lingering on your mind for whatever period of time they've been there. Life gets us so busy, and if you're always on the go, you'll never have time to, take time to think and process what's going on. For me personally, I know that when I get busy, I don't take the best care of myself or do things that I know I should keep up with for my mental health. I don't, always journal like I should or, just take those little moments to unwind or whatever. So it's important that we do make time for those things because you don't want your mental health or, how you're actually taking care of your physical body to decline because life gets so busy. And so I'm just going to give a few tips on how I take time to check in with myself. And, it's important to just add this kind of often. You don't want this to be something that you do once a month because that's kind of too far. Weekly is ideal, but even like once a night, like every night, just taking time to decompress and unwind and to relax will really just help you be able to tackle the next day with a clear mind and a better headspace each time you do it. So a few tips that I have are to do this in a quiet space where there's no distractions. I know for me personally, I do it when I'm in the shower at times, or I do it when I'm driving somewhere and I just sit in silence and I just take the time to think. It's really about setting the atmosphere for you to look inwards and figure out what you need to do to move forward, what you do to get rid of the past, what you do just need to have a better headspace to tackle whatever is coming next. I personally like to light a candle sometimes. It creates a nice atmosphere. The smell, aromatherapy, it gets me in the nice headspace to think deeply about what's going on. Another thing I like to do during my self-check-in is to not be hard on myself. It's not about being overly critical. It's not about pointing the finger at like, Sierra, you did this wrong, blah, blah, blah. It's really about looking at what has happened and what you're going to do moving forward to address that. What you need to do within yourself to tackle what's ahead. So the first question I like to ask myself in my check-ins is, have I been feeling lately? In this, I think to myself, have I been tired? Have I been irritable? Have I been emotional? Have I been happy? Have I been sad? Just how I've been feeling. After I address how I've been feeling, the next thing I think about is I start to reflect on what's been going on in my life. And that's not just with school, with work, but it's also about with my friends or with my personal relationship with myself. So that's like what thoughts have been lingering on my head. What thoughts have come up that I didn't address and take more time to think about in that moment. I then take time to think about, how have I been handling this? Has it been affecting my eating? Has it been affecting my sleep schedule? Has it affected my me time? Has it affected how I'm spending my time with God? All those questions are just good to think about because for me, a lot of times how I'm feeling matches up with how I've been treating myself. And so if I'm not treating myself right, then a lot of times how I'm feeling will be on the decline. So you always want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself the way you should. And like I talked about in making self-care a lifestyle episode, for me, after I take the time to address the what, I take time to think about like, how do I feel about this? About how I'm handling this, about what's going on. I then take that a step further and to think about, am I okay with how I'm handling this? Like, what changes can I make? This is honestly just one big conversation I'm having with myself and looking inward and just taking the time to stop and like, hey girl, are you good? And that's kind of just what I'm doing with myself. Like, am I good? Am I okay? And if I'm not, then what can I do to fix it? And what can I do to change what I'm doing right now and not continue on the decline if I'm not doing good? I feel like it's really easy to pinpoint when you can see other people when they're not doing their best, but can you pinpoint when you are not doing your best and when you are going through something? And that's what this whole checking in with yourself is. It's making sure that you're not going on a downward spiral. And that's why I say this is important to do weekly, because you want to catch it before you're in the cycle of not taking care of yourself or, just being down. You want to make sure that you are doing what you can to make yourself feel the best and tackle what's ahead. So this week, I want to challenge everyone to find some time within a day or even multiple days this week to check in with yourself. Take some time to really think about how you've been doing and what can you do to feel better. And use some of the questions that I asked myself that I gave examples when earlier in the episode to continue to unpack on how you personally are doing. C's 2 cents for this week is an Instagram post I saw from the page Her True Worth, and it goes like this. On days like this, when you feel the pain of growing and it seems to be unbearable, pause and look up. Remember who is holding you. Remember who is guiding you. He is preparing you for where you are going. Lay back into his arms. Breathe. Be still. Trust and let him be your comfort. I really love this message. I actually love this whole Instagram page. Y'all should definitely check it out. But I really love this because it just reminds me to just take the time and let God be God. Lean into him even more than you are right now and let him guide you. Or not, that's just my 2 cents. Thank you all for listening to this week's episode. If you like anything that you heard, be sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and follow us on Instagram at The Honesty Circle with the _ at the end. Thanks so much for listening, and go conquer your week.